Coming up on this week's show, we look at the pros and cons of buying a VW Polo GT for a first-time buyer.
We suggest a luxurious buy with R1 million budget.
And we discuss the difference between trade-in values offered for an Opel Crossland.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. Here to help us this week, Puti Impignane from Business Day and Leon Loyson from Mahindra Johannesburg South. Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to have you back with us.
Thank you.
And a special welcome to Puti.
The voice of reason.
The voice of reason
is here.
Voice of reason is back. Remember, if you like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za, or you can pop us a DM on Instagram @ignitiontv. And please give us as much information as possible, including a nice picture of yourself. Now, first question of the week comes from Kagiso, a first-time buyer who's in the market for a Volkswagen Polo GT. He's a maximum budget of 300,000 Rand, and he'd like to know what are the pros and cons of purchasing one of these entry-level hot hatches. He'll be using the car for daily commute, so fuel efficiency is very important. And he adds that he's open to other suggestions as well. Well, I don't know if the Polo GT 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo is a hot hatch, Puti, but he thinks so.
It is absolutely the perfect car. This
Absolutely.
guy, he nailed it. You know, that is the car to buy when you're a youngster. It's got the kind of mild, wild performance. It's got the practicality. It's got the looks. All a young guy needs.
But the Polo GT is more than his budget. Unfortunately, it's about 350 grand, and his budget is 300,000.
It's okay. There is one on the pre-owned market, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe you can find. He'd have to find a pre-owned one. So, but brand new, he couldn't. Leon, your thoughts on this?
No, look, it's an awesome car. It's got the same motor as the Polo range.
Yeah.
The Vivos came out with the smaller motors of the 1.4s.
1.4.
This has got the 1-litre turbo 3-cylinder, which is a great car. I think it's like 85 kilowatts or 81 kilowatts. It's a very nice car. My only alarm bells that start going off in the back of my head is when I hear it's a first-time buyer or looking at buying a Polo. And our first-time buyer, how old is this person? Because the insurance is going to be hectic. If that's not an issue for them, and you're looking at other options, is for 300,000, there's so many options you can go for.
Yeah.
But hot hatch is difficult. I mean, it's a Polo GTI or an N120 or a I20 or whatever it is. What does he see as a hot hatch?
How about a Suzuki Swift Sport?
That is an unbelievable car. I've got a lot of experience with it, and it's got a 1.4 turbo. It goes like stink.
Are you going to find one for 300,000 Rand?
You will find one, definitely, but you're going to find one that's old.
Yeah.
New, I think they're like, 460 odd.
New, they're out of his budget.
In that vicinity.
Pre-loved, he's definitely
Pre-loved, you'll find one. And that's a lacquer car. That's also a motor that doesn't die. And yeah, I enjoy it a lot. It's got a lot more performance than you actually think.
What do you think about that, buddy?
About the Swift?
Yeah.
I think it's a niche car. Nice car, but niche. I don't think it's the kind of little hatch that youngsters are looking for.
Yeah, the Polos are very popular.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually in present time driving the new Polo GT, and I must say it's a very nice little car to drive. It's got a bit of vuma. It's not exactly what I'd call a hot hatch. It goes fine.
Warm hatch.
It's warm. I like the Polos, but I think for somebody a first-time buyer, you want something. If you're going to keep it for, let's say, more than the warranty of the car, which is 3 years, I would say go a little bit less and buy yourself a Polo Vivo, not the GT. Buy yourself the 1.6. It's available in a 1.6. It's a very much more simpler engine, because it's like turbocharged engines are cool, but it's not only turbochargers that create problems, it's all the other technicalities that go with it. Sophisticated fuel injection systems, things like that. Not the kind of thing that your average home mechanic can fix. Where if you get like a Polo 1.6, it's a simple engine. It's a really good, reliable engine that go for a very long time, and it'll last for many, many years. And you can go and buy yourself basically a brand new 1.6 out the box. And then, I mean, there's so many options in terms of added extras you can buy from so many places. You can put a spoiler on it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And you can put a little bib spoiler on the front, a spoiler on the back, maybe a bit of wheels, and not spending a lot of money. You can make your 1.6 look like a GT without the technical problems that you may occur later on in the life of the car. It'll be cheaper to run.
Yeah, but okay, this is exactly what VW is doing with the GT, because he
Making
wants
it look
people who wants a full package.
Yes.
Got it, I don't need to touch it.
Yes.
Whereas they probably have calculated that if they go go to Segi's friends and put some accessories there, it might actually be
Hey,
more
we can
expensive.
sell you
Okay,
a
you
lot of
make-
accessories for cheap.
Make a point. Unfortunately, we're running out of time on this question, but what we're all saying is Polo's cool, buy that. If you want the GT, if you can find a used one, cool. I think you should buy 1.6. Putty maybe knows better than me. He's much younger than me. He sort of knows. But good little car to go.
I wouldn't buy either. Anyway, we move on now to a question from Boitumelo, who regrettably sold his trouble-free 2019 Hyundai Elantra 2-litre Elite to get rid of a balloon payment on the vehicle. He currently drives a 2016 VW Jetta with 200,000 kilometers on the clock, which he bought just because he was told the Jetta is reliable and cheap to maintain. And that wasn't us. However, considering the car's mileage, he's concerned about, guess what, the DSG gearbox. Should he trade in the Jetta for something like a Honda Civic, Subaru WRX, or a Golf GTI? Considering he can now spend 6,000 Rand per month on an installment. But why didn't this guy call us before doing all this?
What do
Or
you
write
think?
to us?
Leon?
Hey, Putti?
Yeah. Leon, what do
Leon?
you think? Yeah.
No, because I worked it out. You know, you're looking at 4.5 grand for the installment and 1,500 Rand for insurance. You're looking at around about a 250,000 Rand car. So his insurance might be less. I'm just using an
Yeah.
average.
But he's not going to buy any of the cars that he wants in that
No.
price bracket.
He's not going to. And there's a saying that the first smack you take on a car is the best. If something's bothering you and you leave it and something goes, then you are in for tears.
Yes.
Because it's big
So
money.
he's
Like
feeling this now.
like
with
you
his
said,
Jetta.
yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yes. Once that starts keeping in your mind, every time you open your garage door, you're like, oh my goodness. And then it's always
it
bothering you, driving to work. And it's like, is this thing going to give in today? You know, something going to happen. Rather than to ease your mind. But you're going to need to be realistic. You're looking at a car, let's say 250 to 300,000. That's what you're going to be looking at.
This is the problem we often get on the show is that the perception of, well, I'm going to get rid of this car and I like those cars, so I think I'll go buy one of those cars. When people you need to do your research to understand what these cars sell for. So a Subaru WRX, Golf GTI, the Honda Civic 1.5 or 1.8, that's the new spec version. You're not going to find in that price range. What would you recommend he do here?
If you're not going back to look for another Elantra, why not? He seems to be quite happy with that. But
Good point, yeah.
You're quite right. On that list of cars there, nah, not for the money. Or unless he gets a very old Honda Civic,
Yeah.
which is, if you compare it to the Subaru and the Golf, makes a more sensible buy.
But he's most probably looking at these cars as well with a balloon payment. And that's why he's maybe looking at them, because then he can maybe afford that. Where I think you make a very good point there. He had an Elantra, he had no issues with it, sold it because of the balloon payment. What he should have done in this instance is kept the Elantra and just refinance that balloon payment.
Yeah.
Because now you're back in a finance of another vehicle anyway that you don't know if it's going to fail. So maybe what's worthwhile doing is seeing what you can get for this Jetta, and see what you can get as a trade-in on another Elantra. Maybe you can find another Elantra with a less mileage. You can get a decent trade-in on a Jetta, and then you're going back to a car that you know, proven reliable, and they are really good cars. Maybe I think that's a good advice.
You know what I'd like to ask him is who are these people he heard talk about reliability and cheap maintenance? I just want to know who those people are.
Yeah.
I want them to come work for me.
Yeah,
They can lie to everyone about that.
People who don't drive like you.
that's it.
Hey? Yes, who are these people? Cheap, reliable, and cheap. That Jetta.
It's them.
With 200, it's them.
Them, they.
Them, they.
Okay, stay tuned, because after the break, we go in search of an SUV that will serve a viewer throughout retirement.
And we suggest a pair of his and hers luxury vehicles for a viewer worth 1 million Rand. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you've just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Carl is the proud owner of a Mazda CX5 and is about to retire. He's considering getting into an SUV that will last him for the next 15 years. The vehicle will be used for the daily drive and for sightseeing trips 4 times a year. He's considering upgrading to the latest Mazda CX5, a Toyota Fortuner, or the Honda CR-V at a cost of not more than 500,000 Rand. Leon, what's your take on that?
No, look, the CR-V and the Fortuner, in my opinion, are pretty different cars. I'd say the Rev is more like a CR-V, but that's just my opinion. And there's a lot of other vehicles if he's willing to look at the other brands. But your CX5 is stunning. I love that car. I love the 2 litre. I love the 2.5, and then obviously the Kira. I like all the vehicles. The most understated and really the most reliable, I would imagine, would be the CR-V. If you're looking for a car for 15 years, it's a long time.
You've got to buy Japanese. I mean, he's put their Fortuner, he's put their CR-V, CX-5, all good cars, aren't
All Japanese. Yeah.
But obviously CX5 and CR-V are not SUV, they're more crossover. So when he says SUV and he says 15,000 or 15 years, I don't know. For me, I'm thinking Toyota Fortuner.
Although I really do like the Fortuner, it's a great vehicle. I think if you had a CX-5, you would have known how reliable and how good those cars are. You can move up to the new spec one. It's a little bit prettier. It's got new headlights, new interior, and that. It is a nice vehicle, and he'll find one in his budget of 500,000 rand. Comes with a good warranty. I think that is the way to go. You're going to have 15 years of trouble-free motoring.
I don't know. He's retiring. Maybe he wants to also explore. Spend his time out in the bundos. And if he's got a CX5 or a CR-V, he's going nowhere with that.
You know, nowadays when we say we're going to retire, we're going to go sightseeing and we're going to go to the game range, we're talking about going to Kruger Park.
Kruger Park.
And you're going to go on dirt roads. These cars are going to sort that out. If you're going to go and do like, I'm going up into Botswana, Namibia, those kinds of...
You can't do that with the Fortuner 4x2 in any case.
Yeah, you're going to need... Then you're going to need to buy something serious off-road. Exactly. So I think this is more for like, the odd dirt track here and there. And it's most probably a couple of times a year. CX-5 for me, I've always been a fan of that car. I see them when they come into our workshops. We hate those cars because they never break. We don't make money out of them. And you see the customer once a year, come in, 5-minute service, go, goodbye. Yeah. That's why I like those cars. Because, they're good looking, they're reliable, they have good resale values. And if he takes it, and he goes to a Mazda dealer and trades his CX-5 on a newer CX-5, he's going to get a good deal on it. He's going to go.
I still like what Putty said, though. He's looking for an SUV. Yeah. The others aren't SUVs.
Yeah, but everybody says SUV. I mean, a VW T-Cross is an SUV.
I think the Mazda CX-5 is an SUV. A RAV is not a SUV, but a Fortuner is. You know what I mean?
What does SUV mean? Sport utility vehicle.
Yeah, I mean,
they say the XUV 300 is an SUV. It's not an SUV. There's no chance it's an SUV.
Yeah.
But our Scorpio N is an SUV, and our XUV 700 is an SUV. Definitely, they're big cars. They're big 5-seater with big space in the back, 7-seater on the Scorpio N and on the XUV.
Okay.
Now I was with you guys with the CX on the
Buy a Mazda
CX5.
CX5 because we're going to end this question and we're going to move on to.
No, I don't buy the CX5. Go for the Fortuner.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Putty. The Fortuner is the way to go.
Okay, good one. Right, moving on. 42-year-old Arthur hails from the Free State and has a budget of 1 million rand. He wants to buy not 1, 2 luxury vehicles in the SUV for himself and a sedan or compact SUV for his wife. There we go. You see, compact SUV.
Yeah.
Arthur currently drives a 2020 Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, and we'd like something that's more comfortable and elegant. He's considering the Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 Coupe and a C180 or C200 or C220, as well as a BMW X4 and the Range Rover Evoque, which combo would be the best buy for them. Well, I think his R1 million budget is going to get one car.
It's blown.
Who wants to get rid of their Toyota Prado?
Prado Land Cruiser, yes.
Keep
their right mind.
It's a 2020
and he's downgrading to a Mercedes.
If he wants 2 cars, he obviously wants a vehicle in for the wife.
Snob value.
Yeah, so
he should take the 1 bar and spend it on his wife.
He's just told us a Prado is not luxurious.
What?
Toyota won't be happy with that.
No.
It's a luxury car as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Toyota Prado is most probably one of the best vehicles in its segment. You cannot get better. I know it looks it is a strange looking vehicle. I would definitely keep that car because you can give that to your great-grandchildren, they'll still be driving it. I mean, you still see old
Prado.
40
to V6, hopefully not.
Take your $1 million and buy your wife whatever she wants. Say, I'm going to keep my car, darling. You buy whatever you want and buy her something really fancy.
Yes, something really nice.
And then if you want to go and impress your friends, you go and drive her car. Really, that's what it's about.
Then if he's got that budget, then he can actually look at the cars he's looking at, because those Beamers that he was looking at, those Mercs, or the Beamers, sorry.
The Range Rover Evoque, definitely.
You're not going to get that.
He'll get for a bar.
These are all,
That's
if you're looking second hand, you're talking 600,000-700,000 rand for a decent one. So you could buy yourself a Range Rover Evoque and your wife a Polo, and she'll phone the divorce lawyer.
And it's from the Free State. You need a Prado for that area.
Yes,
100% right.
absolutely.
That's Toyota land, that, huh?
Yes.
A 2020
I mean,
Prado,
yes.
it's not an old one. If you said I got a 1994 Prado, I can understand you want to move on.
That's a 2.8 GD6 motor,
Yeah.
diesel now.
It's a great car. You've most probably got one of the best cars you can buy there.
Yeah, and you'll fit in there.
Keep
Yes.
that and spend your million on one other decent car. So let's concentrate on that. What would you recommend he spend his $1 million on his wife? And his wife will be beaming and smiling.
Absolutely, no questions. I'll just keep the Prado and see what you can buy there. In that list there, maybe this GLE.
Yeah.
I think so.
Or a GLC.
Or
Even
a
a
GLC.
GLC.
Yeah.
You can get a GLC.
Yeah.
You'll have you get a good one for that. So the Mercedes are not too bad. And if you can get the BMW X4 as well. A 2-liter diesel X4 is also a good option. You're going to spend 600,000-700,000 rand on one of those. The Range Rover.
I like the Range Rover Evoque. Eh?
It is a great car, but it can be
What are you gonna
problematic.
get?
Yeah, but I like it. No, I like that car.
We've got $1 million, and unfortunately, if you're going to spend $1 million on 2 luxury cars, you ain't going to get anything great for 500 and 500. You can actually downgrade from your Prado. You're going to be looking back and saying, I wish I'd listened to Adam Ford because he said, keep my Prado.
I said so.
Well,
I said
would
so.
you also? We
I
all
said
say
so.
that.
You guys said so.
We all say that. So keep the Prado. It's a luxury vehicle, a reliable vehicle. It'll last forever. You'll always get fantastic resale
And
value.
it's
on
a
the
free
car.
passport into the Free State.
There we go.
Free passport into the Free State.
Buy your
Otherwise-
wife, take your $1 million, buy your wife a really nice car for that, and you're going to get something better than she would get anywhere. She'll be very happy. Happy wife, happy life. Move on.
And all the other extras that go with that. We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we advise a viewer on parts availability for his beloved VW Jetta.
And we discuss the difference in trade-in values offered for an Opel Crossland. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Up next, we have a question from Ronald, who recently traded in his 2013 VW Polo Vivo 1.4 for a 2018 Jetta 1.4 TSI with 80,000 kilometers on the clock and a full service history. He bought the vehicle from a Volkswagen dealership with an extended warranty and a service plan for 2 years. Unlimited mileage as well. Since the vehicle has been discontinued, he's worried about the availability of parts for the vehicle. Leon, you're a dealer. You've got a vehicle that's a couple of years old. Should you be worried about getting parts for it?
I don't think you should. The OEMs are compelled, or they want to, because they want to sell parts as their job. And a lot of vehicles in South Africa, we don't exactly have a population that is just rolling around in the money. So they're driving older cars. So if you're an OEM and you don't keep those parts, you're losing out.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to supply those parts somewhere.
I think it's 10 years.
I think they are compelled by law. Consumer Protection Act and all these lovely things we have in this country to protect the consumer. So I don't think it's got anything to worry about. To say that parts are going to always be available, that's a fallacy. It doesn't happen like that. But percentage-wise, they will have parts. You don't have to stress. You will be covered.
Yeah, I mean, VW invested a lot in making people buy the Vivo,
Yeah.
the Polo. We're in 2 generations of...
Well, this is the Jetta he's worried
Yes.
about. Yeah, he traded in the the Vivo. So he's worried about the Jetta. But the Jetta would be the same story.
no. I don't think there's a problem there with parts.
And remember, the Jetta's a fairly popular car, it's a fair amount about on the roads. So even if if the specific VW dealer doesn't have those parts readily available today, maybe you've got to wait a week for them. Because it's a popular car, you'll find that aftermarket, they'll be available.
Plenty
gold-
aftermarket parts.
Or even second-hand parts,
Yes.
whatever. So to answer the question, don't worry about it. You will be able to get parts for it. Like any motor vehicle, even the latest stuff now, every now and then there is a shortage of the part. But with modern-day logistics, well, we don't have it in South Africa. We'll fly it in. It'll be here in a week. It's not a problem. You will.
Yeah,
get
you'll
parts.
have the part.
It's
available.
not like you've got it's a Ferrari and there's only 2 of them in the country. You have to wait for a long time for them to make the part. This is a popular car. You won't have an issue.
There we go.
Okay. And finally, Kabali recently wanted to trade in his 2019 Opel Crossland 1.2T for a Peugeot 288. He was offered half the book value of the vehicle. Another dealer offered 40% more than what Stellantis offered. Kabali would like to know why Stellantis offered him a lower resale value for one of their own vehicles, especially considering he wanted to trade in the Opel for another Stellantis product. Okay, guys, I don't want to be knocking one company here like Stellantis or something. But I find that rather off-putting that you as the seller of a vehicle, said vehicle, won't trade in your vehicle at book value, especially if I want to purchase another vehicle from you. As Adam earlier said on one of the vehicles, if you're trading in your CX5 on another CX5, you'll get the best trade-in value. Why can't that hold true here?
Well,
Leon?
besides, these are all Stellantis products.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, they are one car. Come to think of
But
it.
maybe the problem here is that the specific dealer that he went to happened to have a couple of them on their showroom floor and they don't want any more. This is sometimes a problem, isn't it? Yeah?
So you must remember, other brands, let's just start there. Other brands might have money from the factory. So the factory says, okay, fine. Like they're having on Amarok at the Amarok.
An
You wanna go buy
incentive to buy it.
an incentive. So there's 100,000 Rand from factory. I'm just using a figure, don't quote
Yes.
me. Okay. So you get 100,000 Rand to play with. You can use that to subsidize a rate, you can use it towards a trade-in, you can use it in many different ways. So you find out what the customer's hot buttons are. In this case, it's a person's trade-in. So you take that 100,000 Rand, you put it on the trade-in. So you look like the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes.
They then go to another brand and they don't have that. They've just got their vehicle.
Mm.
So I get that as well every single day. Not every single day, but I get it pretty often. Somebody says, why don't you offer me the same value as Nissan? Okay, but Nissan has got a special on their product. So they're using that money. So it's unfortunate that this customer is frustrated with the brand. Like you say, that dealership, ex-dealership might have had 5 or 6 of these vehicles on their floor. And it's standing, they're not moving. So
And
they
it's not
can't
a
afford to
big-
have another one. You know,
It's not a big seller. The Crossland Putty is not exactly one of the most popular cars on
what
the
do they
road
sell a
now,
month?
is it?
30, 60 cars a month?
No, not even. It's got its issues, you know, especially in terms of the competition today. It's a bit
Sure.
dull, but it's also got its positives. It's one of the biggest,
Yeah.
one of the most sort of comfortable driving, great dynamically,
Yeah.
but it's a dull car.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing. Like I mentioned, maybe that specific dealer had 3 or 4 of them, and they've had them on their showroom floor for the last 6 months and can't sell them because it's not a big seller. Like you mentioned, maybe they sell 20, 30 a month of those cars.
So then where do
Not
we
just the
get these
dealership.
trade-in values from?
Well,
You get
Where do these trade-in values arise?
From the
if
medium
that's,
grader.
if because then you're lying to the clientele. You're lying to the man in the street.
it's
If-
market related.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
if it's
related.
market related,
Even a Toyota
how
Hilux
can-
is not worth trade value. It's not worth trade value today because there's so many. When the factory went underwater a couple of years back, there was such a huge demand for Hiluxes and Land Cruiser 300s. You couldn't even find a Land Cruiser 300 for the love of money. Guys were paying premiums on them. And now you can get a Land Cruiser 300 at discounted prices. It's just the way the market works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
people need to be advised of this. The man in the street is not like you, Leon, knowing the ups and downs and all that.
But I think, isn't
he
it-
went to 3 different people and got 3 different prices.
You will.
So how is that market related if in the same market he's got 3 different prices?
Because like Leon said, you got, like he went to Honda and Honda offered him a great deal on a trade. And maybe Honda had an incentive from the factory to say, okay, anybody who buys this particular Honda product, you can add another 50,000 Rand onto their trade value or however you want to use it. And maybe Stellantis doesn't. So it varies. And of course, you're talking about a car here that's not a big popular car. It's not a great demand. So you're not going to get fantastic deals on it. And unfortunately, it's not only with this particular car, it's lots of cars you will find that. You'll get different
All
values.
brands, every single brand.
And I think what
So
it
that-
boils down to as well is don't take the first offer you get. You know, you can also, he could go back to Stellantis and say, look, I want to buy this Peugeot 288, but these are the values that I got from, look, here's my offer from Honda, here's my offer from Toyota, here's my
We buy
offer from
cars,
Mazda,
Wheelie,
whatever.
Mid-Mac, all those guys.
You don't have to sell it to the dealer. You can go and say, you made a good point. Say that again.
So you've got We Buy Cars,
Yeah,
you've got
Wheelie.
Wheelie,
Yeah.
you've got, I think it's Mid-Mac,
yeah.
you've got Mahindra Joburg South. So,
There's lots of people. So
yeah,
don't take the
exactly.
first offer.
And you know, Segi, like you said, me being in the industry for 24 years, or somebody that's looking at buying a car, a friend of mine said yesterday, you know, Leon, I went to a dealership and I knew more than the salesperson. Yes, you're going to know more.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're paying your hard-earned dollars.
Cash,
You're
yes.
paying your hard-earned bucks, whether you're financing it, putting a balloon payment, or
Yeah.
paying it cash. Makes no difference. It's still coming out your back scar.
Yeah.
So you're going to educate yourself on it. You're going to make sure you know what you're doing. So like you say, make sure you cover all your bases.
Go and get
it's
other
not,
options.
You pick up a phone.
Yeah, pick up the
Yes.
phone, it's easy. And unfortunately, just like that, we've come to another end of this episode. Booty, Leon, once again, thanks for today. been a pleasure having you in the studio with us today, and thanks for your helpful advice. Thanks.
And there's just Adam who thinks it's been great advice, eh? Thanks, guys. Until next time, remember to keep left past right, and please keep it safe on the roads.